Hello students, welcome to my lecture series for animal ecology. Myself Dr. Sangeeta Bhamre, SVKT College, Devlari Camp, Nasik. In last lecture from animal ecology, we saw this population dynamics. So in population dynamics, we saw the definition of population, size of population, density of population, and what is mean by population growth, overall the factors which are affecting on the population, etc. In today's lecture, we are going to talk about this population density in detail. Then what are the fluctuations which affects on the population, what are population fluctuations, and important part is the Gauss principle, which is related to the animals which are living, not only animals but whole organisms which are living in the particular ecosystem. As we people have already defined this population as, so what is mean by population? It is nothing but, in biology, these are the organisms of the same group or species and in the particular geographical area, and characteristic feature is what? They are capable for the interbreeding. So basically population, it indicates what? The group of organisms which belongs to the same species and they have the capability of the interbreeding and they are specified in the particular geographical area. So in sociology, or so many times you might have been heard this term population. So what happened? Population, especially by the sociology point of view, it refers to the collection of humans. So population in simpler term is the number of people. So here number of people, you people can take any example of the organism or the plant or bacteria, etc. So here population in simpler terms is the number of people in city, town, region, country or whole world. So population usually determined by the process termed as a census. So what is mean by census? So here we people are collecting the particular data, then we analyze that particular data, we compile that data and then we people try to publish it. So this is in simple about the definition of population and how we are interested or how we are doing to analyze it and calculate it, etc. So here we are going to discuss about the points related to this population. So first of all, we will talk about the density, then what is natality, then mortality related to population, what is mean by fecundity life tables, and lastly we will talk about the survivalship curve. So two base curves here we are going to talk about. Then we will turn towards the age ratio, sex ratio and dispersal and dispersion. So what is dispersal and what is dispersion? That things we people have learned in last lecture. So size of population usually can be measured by this 2 or 3 ways. So what are that? So first is the abundance. So abundance doesn't give exact number of the population, remember here. So what is mean by abundance? So abundance can be calculated. Here the absolute number of individual in the population. Then numerical density. Numerical density term in itself indicate here the number of individuals per unit area of the volume. So in a particular X volume, whatever the number of individuals are there, so that number of individuals are analyzed or calculated here. So it is expressed when the size of individual in population is relatively uniform. So one criteria for the second one is, means especially for the numerical density is what? Here the population should be uniform. Then and then we people can calculate it. Right? So here population size can be measured by this 2 or 3 ways. So first is the abundance where absolute number of individual can be calculated. So absolute number is different and number of this individual per unit area is different, where as per the volume this number of individuals can be analyzed. So in second one here, the number of this individual should be, in that particular population should be uniform. Then also third way by which this population density can be calculated as the biomass density. So here the particular biomass is considered. So biomass with the help of its dry weight, sometimes weight, then according to their volume, and also it can be calculated by the minerals which are present as carbon, nitrogen, etc. So this population density will be expressed by these two ways. So crude population density and the second is the ecological population density. So what is mean by this crude population density? So when the density is expressed with reference to total area at a particular time. So here this timing factor is very, very important. So in crude population density, when the density is expressed with reference to the total area of the particular time. So in the particular time here, this total density of the population can be measured. So time is important in the first one. And in second one, what happened when the density is expressed with reference to total area of habitat available to the species, means this much of habitat suppose available to that particular species, then accordingly that ecological density will be measured. Then the distribution between this crude density and this ecological density becomes important. Why it is so? Because the pattern of distribution of individual in nature are different. So what happened here? The pattern of distribution, each and every species is distributed differently in the particular ecosystem. So according to the distribution here, this ecological density and crude population density can be measured. Then percent of population. So how this percent of population usually calculated or analyzed? So population density can be calculated. Here one formula is given by which this population density most of the time is analyzed. So what is that formula here? So D is equal to, D indicates what here? Density, population density. D is equal to N by A by T. So what is this N, A and T? So these are the parameters where D is the population density which is equal to, N indicates what here? The number of individuals. A indicates the area and T indicates the unit time. So here population density is equal to number of individuals per area in which, or you can consider it as a habitat, especially per unit time. So this is the simple formula by which this percent of population can be calculated or analyzed. So density of human population can be obtained by dividing the total number of person per area by the total land or region which is available to that particular population. So you just have to remember here this formula, that is D is equal to this N per A or per time. So last time also we people have talked about the factors which especially affect this population. So two important factors are here. First is the immigration and second is the migration, which is also pronounced as a immigration, right? So what is this immigration and migration? So immigration means movement of individuals into the population, means any entry of any foreign individual into the X population, then that time that X individual is known as an immigrated type of individual. So that is the mechanism or called as a immigration. Then migration means movement or transfer simply of the individual from that X population towards the Y population or towards the another side. So we called it as a migration. So both factors are responsible to affect this population, or these are the two important factors which affect this population. Then with this means immigration, migration, that is okay, but also another factors which affects this population density are some biotic factors and abiotic factors. So abiotic factors includes the food or habitat, especially nutrients we called it as, and this biotic factors means any type of competitors suppose are there nearby, then that time also they will responsible to affect the population density. So here measure this four factors which are going to affect this population density, that is this immigration, migration, some biotic factors and abiotic factors. Then percent of population, suppose you are talking about the whole country population, then this density of population of a country can be obtained by. So here one formula is given, means approx, suppose you are interested to calculate or to analyze the density of population of the whole country, then that time how you can analyze it? So here it can be obtained by simply dividing the total number of person living in the particular area and divided by or region total land area of that region, means number of individuals to the particular habitat. That will helpful to give us the idea about the total density of that country. Then average population densities in developing countries is more as compared to those in developed country. So this is one of the characteristic feature which today we people can see that means if you are going to analyze the average population, then it has been observed that the average population of developing country is more as compared to the developed country. Means developed country shows the less population density as compared to the developing countries. Then here these are the some analysis or statistics, you can call it as, related to India especially. So it has been observed that area of India is 2.5 if you are going to compare it towards the whole earth area. So this area of India is 2.5 of the world, but 15% population of the world lives in India alone, right? So this is one of the analysis, today's analysis. And the population density of the India is 4% higher than that of Europe and more than 7 times that of USA. So here few countries are compared with India related to this population density. So from this it has been observed that it is 4% higher than the Europe and 7% higher than the USA. So this population density which is affected by this number of environmental factors. So that is okay related to the population or this few countries. Means in previous slide we saw that this developing countries usually shows this large population density, while developed country shows the less type of population density if you are going to compare. So what happened here? This population density is affected by the so many factors. So few things we people have already discussed in last lecture, right? So which are that factors? So very first are the environmental factors. Then such as geographical factor, mortality, then natality, immigration, then migration and socio-economic factors. So here environmental factor includes the availability of the food. Then some socio-economic factors also responsible for the particular this population density. Means as per the society here, as per the religion here, population density can be seen. Then geographical factors, latitude, longitude, etc. and rate of mortality, rate of natality. So all these factors togetherly working or are responsible for this population density. So natality definition we people have already seen in last lecture. So here it indicates basically the rate of reproduction. So it has been observed that it is an expression of production of new individuals in the population by birth, and here the way of reproduction may be by hatching, germination or fission. So as per the organism here, type of or the way of reproduction will be there. So the simple formula by which we can calculate this rate of birth or natality is the birth rate or natality is equal to number of births per unit time per average population. So simple formula is there to calculate this natality is number of births per unit time divided by average population. Then mortality, opposite to natality, it can be calculated as mortality rate is equal to capital D divided by time. Means where D is the number of deaths per unit time. So here rate of death, rate of this birth can be calculated, and accordingly this percent of population density can be analyzed. So this mortality can be expressed by two ways. So what are that two ways? First is the potential mortality, which is also known as the uniform or minimum type of this mortality, and second is the ecological or realized mortality. So here this potential mortality is the minimum one, minimum percent can be calculated here, and this ecological or realized mortality. So what does it mean? So it refers to death of individuals of a population under existing environmental condition. So according to the death of the individuals in the particular population, here this ecological mortality can be calculated. Then since it varies with the environmental condition, it is never constant. Means it completely depends upon the environmental factor. Previous one is as such not according to the environment factor, but here environment, as per the environmental factor, this mortality depends, or environmental factor, ecological factor affects this rate of the death especially. Then this birth rate ratio is called as a vital index. So for the population or survival of the individual, more important than the death. Suppose you are talking about the surveillance or any type of ecosystem, X type of ecosystem. So what happened? Every ecosystem always try to maintain the number of each and every organism. So we called it as a ecological homeostasis. So when we are talking about the ecological homeostasis, then every time this natality or surveillance or new upcoming of the individual is always important than the death of that particular organism in X ecosystem. So here for every population, this survival of individual is very, very important, and we always try to focus on the surveillance of each and every individual. Then this number of births in relation to carrying capacity of the habitat is the fundamental factor which influence the mortality rate. So here every time birth rate accordingly and the carrying capacity of that particular ecosystem decides this mortality or rate of this death or death rate. Then this survival importance to the ecosystem. Surveillance is always important to the ecosystem. When one young one which born then in that particular habitat can support, the surplus must either die or leave the area. Means more young ones suppose, means population suppose increase due to any reason and too much competition is there for the habitat, for the nutrition or food, then that time here the rate of this mortality or mortality rate becomes high or death can be seen. Means here either we can see the mortality or either one or two types of these individuals are ready to move from that particular site. So because the number of survivors is more important, as in previous slide also I told you, here surveillance is more important rather than the death. That's why this type of condition we people can see in each and every ecosystem. Then what does mean by this fecundity life table? So what happened when sufficient information about the species is available? So any X group we are going to analyze it, and whole information suppose is available regarding that particular ecosystem, especially suppose we are interested in particular X species, then that time it become easy to analyze the vital index of that particular group of the individual or population. So here simple fecundity life table is nothing but the analysis of this vital statistics related to the mortality, then life expectancy of the individuals of different age groups in that particular population. Means simple in fecundity life table, what we are going to analyze, suppose the whole information is available to us, then that time it become easy to that particular group of individual, this whole parameters or characteristic, for example mortality, then natality, what is the age ratio, what is the sex ratio, etc. So that is nothing but the fecundity life table. Means simple the analysis of that particular whole population. Then this survivorship curve. So what does it mean? What is mean by this survivorship curve? So here we people are going to study how this population or how this particular growth can be seen in X population or Y population or in particular habitat. So for this two groups are suggested. So survivorship curve is basically the plotting of number of these individuals against the time. So number of individuals per unit time, that is nothing but the survivorship curve. So here in survivorship curve, basically two curves we are going to learn. So first is the sigmoidal curve and second one is the J-shaped curve. So what is the difference between sigmoidal curve and J-shaped curve? So what we people can see in this picture, you people at the right side you can see the S-shape means sigmoidal curve, and at left side you can see the J-shaped curve. So what is the difference in between this J curve and this S curve, shortly which are denoted as? In sigmoidal curve, what we can see here, the population increases very slow. So at the first firstly here you can see in this right curve, the population increase is slow, then rapid increase can be seen. Nextly, first of all, the population increase is slow, then positive acceleration phase, which is known as, means the rapid increase in that particular population can be seen. So scientifically, which is known as a lag phase. In the middle phase, what happened? Population increase becomes very rapid, which is known as a logarithmic phase. And finally, in last phase, what we can see here, the increase is slowed down, which is known as a negative acceleration, or we called it as a stagnant or stationary phase. So here, rapid growth especially can be seen at the middle one. So in sigmoidal curve, what happened? In the last phase, new organisms are almost equal to the number of dying individuals. So this is one of the characteristic feature of the S curve or sigmoidal curve. So what happened here? The number of individual, if you are going to analyze or calculate. So newly born individual as well as the dying individual or number of deaths are almost equal one. So in this way, one gets sigmoid or S-shaped growth curve. We people can analyze like this. So in this left side, this J-shaped curve. So what are the characteristic feature of this J curve? So in J curve, what happened? First phase is, in the first phase or means at the starting phase, there is no as such increase in the individual or population size is very, very slow. Because it needs some time, we called it as a adaptation. Adaptation means what? Any X individual, when it enters into the new ecosystem, then that time for the purpose of surveillance or for the purpose of matching to that particular environment, it takes some times. So we call such a mechanism as the adaptation. So when it takes the time for the purpose of adaptation, for this, what we can see here, at very first stage, the number of individuals are very, very less. Then once the sufficient or suitable type of environmental conditions appear, then that time what happened? We can see the population is established or the increase in number of individuals. So all these things we can see in this J-shaped curve. Means as per the environmental factor or availability of food, then condition, atmosphere, here the rapid growth of organisms can be seen. So this is about the J curve and the S curve or sigmoidal curve. Then some population fluctuations can be seen as per the factors availability. So what is mean by this population fluctuation? So there are two types of population fluctuation. First is the non-fluctuating type of population fluctuation and second is the cyclic type of population fluctuations. So what is mean by non-fluctuating type of this population fluctuation? So here when the population remains static over the years, means there is no as such increase or decrease type of population or individual number, then that time it is called as a non-fluctuating type of population fluctuations. But suppose here as per the environmental changes or seasons, we people can call it as. So means suppose as the season changes, then in that particular species we can see the number of individual or population is also get altered. So for this very good example, here I have shown mosquitoes and the houseflies. So we know this thing very well, especially in rainy season, we can see the increased number of these mosquitoes and the houseflies if you are going to compare it with the summer season. So this is about the population fluctuation. So sometimes there is no as such fluctuation. So for this you can take the good example of human being and cyclic type of fluctuations. For this you can take the example of this mosquitoes and houseflies. Then related to the availability of food, nutrients and any X type of habitat or ecosystem, one principle we are going to discuss here. So that principle is called as a Gauss principle. So what this Gauss principle says or tells us? So according to Gauss principle here, when two species competing with each other for the same limited resources, then they cannot coexist at a constant population values. So for this, the very good picture you people can see here. In the first one, this yellow birds try to search or try to get this particular food from this tree. In second one, what you can see, some yellow birds are there and red birds are also there. So there is a competition obviously in between this yellow and red birds. So how there is a competition and who will win? So obviously here red birds, the size is very big or large. So obviously they win here in the middle one compared to the yellow bird. But in third picture, what you can see, yellow bird tried to search their own niche or habitat. Means they separated out themselves from the red bird. It indicates what? They are not going to live togetherly. They are not going to search the food. They are not going to take the food togetherly. That's why it has been said that these two species which are competing for the same limited resource. So here what happened? Limited resources are there and they are also the single one. Due to this, what happened? This yellow bird, which are smaller one or weaker one, you people can call it as, they are weaker compared to the red one. That's why in the third picture, what you can see, they are separated themselves from the red one. So this is about the Gauss principle. Means they are unable to live togetherly. Suppose same type of resources are there, same type of limited resources are there. So this is the Gauss principle. So here we people have finished this population dynamics, in which what we saw the population density, we saw the population size, how we can analyze it, what are the different factors which affect this population density, then related to this some growth curve we saw, then important principle which was suggested by Gauss was the Gauss principle. So this is all about the population dynamics. So here we people have finished this chapter 3. So some questions which I have given for this lecture that you have to solve and upload your answer sheet on Google Classroom. So first question is, what is population density? So in detail you have to explain and you have to give a note on Gauss principle. So this is all about the population dynamics. In our next lecture, we will talk about some interactions which occurs. Then in detail or some this quadrate related to the Gauss principle, that is 3-4 quadrates, line and Bell transect method which are associated with this Gauss principle, etc. Thank you.